Tanjavur as a city, the cultural city, how the different dancing forms got evolved in Tanjavur, and the historical perspective, can you just?
See, Tanjavur, as you know, is a very great cultural town. We do not know when this type of culture came into existence in Tanjavur. Maybe from day one it might have come. And as you know, there are many temples in Tanjavur and Tanjavur district in particular. See, when you say temple, music was actually fostered and nurtured only within the precincts of the temple, be it whatever music. The dancing, for instance, Bharatanatyam, that was meant for the rituals in the temple. Then music. If it is instrumental, the Nagaswaram and Tavil, they were part and parcel of the temple. Again for music, the Tevaram, Divya Prabandham and all that devotional songs, they were there. In those times, before 18th century, there was no platform performance for the public. So if you want to listen to some good music, you have to go to the temple. Similarly, if you want to witness a good dance, you have to go to the temple. That was the thing. And we do not know when Bharatanatyam was established in a temple for doing service during the rituals. Whenever a stone temple came up, that is with granite, this system would have been taken. So there were plenty of Bharatanatyam dancers. If you say, if there is a dancer, there must be a guru or a conductor. That is the Natona. So the Natyacharya, the dancer, they were in the temples. They were in Tanjavur. Similarly, Nagaswaram and Tavil are the two instruments which gained prominence only in Tanjavur, or in Tanjavur district, I mean, not proper town only, Tanjavur whole district. Even today, you go to any village in Tanjavur district, you can see plenty of Nagaswaram and Tavil artists there. So they were also doing service in the temples. Then the devotional singers. So from the devotional singing, at a particular period of time, some other musicians took it, that music, and they started to compose compositions, which we call kritis, varnams, or whatever. And then they were performed only within the palace, in front of the Raja or the Queen or the Zamindar. The public performance, that is the performance meant for the public, came into being when Coimbatore Raghavaiah, when he started to perform. Actually, Coimbatore Raghavaiah, though he is called Coimbatore Raghavaiah because he lived there for some time, he belonged to Kerala, Tirupunithura. And then he went to Haripad. From Haripad he came to Coimbatore, stayed there, so he got the name Coimbatore Raghavaiah. He was the first person, so far traceably, the first person to do a vocal performance in front of the public, for the public. Then many came up, following him, many came. Today, you know, there are thousands of musicians performing all over the world. So in that way, Tanjavur got music, both instrumental, vocal, as well as the visual music, that is Bharatanatyam. The Natya Acharyas were naturally very famous. They were having a syllabus, a repertoire, what to perform when in the temples. And then Bharatanatyam came to the court. So the Devadasi, who was performing Bharatanatyam within the temple, she became a Rajadasi when she came to the court. They were dancing only devotional items naturally in the temples. When the dance came out to the palace, these Natyacharyas composed songs in praise of the kings. He'll be actually an important man or invalid or whatever. But because he happens to be the Zamindar Raja, these Natyacharyas started with, oh, you are like Bhima, you are like Indra, you are like Arjuna. So that they got money. They were given a lot of presents for that. And the dancers also did what the Natyacharyas taught them. Later, during the Maratha rule, even during the Nayak's period, Bharatanatyam was very famous. And there were many Yakshaganas, even today, written by Nayak period. The Nayaks, they were very great scholars, the kings. They have written a number of Yakshaganas fully for Bharatanatyam. It's a dance drama, of course, not a solo. Then, after the period of Nayaks, that is 1675, Vijayaraghavan Nayaka was the last Nayak rule. He passed away. Actually, he was murdered in 1675. And then Marathas came. Marathas continued the tradition of the Nayaks. They also fostered the arts, Nagaswaram, vocal music, devotional music, or whatever, Bharatanatyam, etc. So, Bharatanatyam was taught, practiced by the Natyacharyas of Tanjavur. There was one family. In Tanjavur, there were many families. There is a misnomer among dancers or other people that there is only one family, which is called the Tanjavur quartet family. Actually, there were 7 families, very popular families. There might have been many Natyacharyas, but 7 families were very famous. And one family, after the murder of Vijayaraghavan Nayaka, they moved over to Tirunelveli. And from Tirunelveli, they went to Mysore, Thiruvananthapuram, and such other places. They came back and stayed in Tirunelveli. So, when Tulaja, the Maratha ruler, ascended the throne, he wanted all the Natyacharyas of Tanjavur who had moved out of Tanjavur to come back. So he invited. At the time there was Mahadeva Annavi, Gangamuttu Annavi, and such other great Natyacharyas who belonged to Tanjavur but lived in Tirunelveli. Because after that Nayak's period, they thought they might not have any encouragement or patronage from the kings because they didn't know Marathas. Marathas are people who came from the north. So they didn't know how their art will be. So they didn't want to continue there. And there was a period about 1 month or 2 months after the death of Vijayaraghavan Nayaka. So they didn't want to stay. What will happen, they didn't know. So they moved out to their relatives' house.
Okay.
If there is a chaos, naturally we will move out. In the same way, they moved to Tirunelveli. They stayed there. Tulaja invited them. So this Mahadeva Nattunar and Subbaraya Nattunar, they came to Tanjavur. So this Mahadeva Nattunar was appointed to do service in Tiruvarur, Tyagaraja temple. Subbaraya was appointed in the Brigadishwara temple. The Subbaraya had 4 sons. They are called Chinnaya, Ponnaya, Shivanandam and Vadivelu. They are called the Tanjavur quartet, the very famous people. So they learnt music from Muthuswami Dikshidhar, one among the music trinity. But since Bharatanatyam is their family art, they wanted to continue it. They didn't become musicians. Though they were musicians, they composed a lot of varnas, kirtanas, etc. They wanted to only to be Bharatanatyam Natyacharyas. So they started to train a number of Devadasis from Tiruvarur and Tanjavur. Many came, even from Andhra Pradesh, many came to learn from them. Before their times, that is, before the times of Tulaja, the repertoire was something else. Sharanu, Sollu, Alaru, like that. So they wanted to refurbish it. They wanted to do something new, which must be permanent. So they started to compose Alaripu, Jatiswaram, Shabdam, Varnam, Tilana, etc. That is the present repertoire. They started in 1820 or 1836, which is in currency even today. The Varna may be of somebody else's. I might have composed a Varna, you might have composed Varna. Not necessarily the quartet's Varna, but the Varna is there, the item is there, the Shabdam is there, the Alarip is there. So they devised the format. If it is to be called Bharatanatyam, this should be. In that way, there were plenty of Nattuvanas who came and learned from the quartet and their relatives. So they started. So they diffused the light of Bharatanatyam. In that way, Tanjavur is very great in that way. And when they were serving in the Brigadishwara temple, see, they gave more they seem to honor. They used to be honored in the temple during their Brahmosava festival with that Parivattam and all that. One day when King Sarfoji came to rule, he asked someone else to go and stand there, and the temple priest was asked to tie the Parivattam for the Nattuvanar to that boy. So naturally these people thought we are insulted. So the same day they moved out and went to Varthanad, a place which is about 10 miles from Tanjavur, and stayed there. At the time Maharaja Swadhi Tirunal, though he became the king, he didn't accept the rule. Only his aunt was the regent at that time, because he was very young. The family people wanted to coach him in English. So they heard about one Subbarao of Tanjavur. He was in the Tanjavur Sarfoji's court. He was called English Subbarao. So he was brought to Thiruvananthapuram to coach the young prince to speak and write in English. He was called English Subbarao. Later he became Diwan. When Swadhi Tirunal became the king,
Sir T. Subbarao,
he became the Diwan. So the Diwan said, whenever he used to talk with the Maharaja, he said, see, in Tanjavur there are plenty of, particularly the Subbarayan's family, they are great dance teachers, great musicians, they have composed a lot. Okay, bring them. Because Maharaja was a very great patron of fine arts university. So these people from Varthanad, they were invited to Thiruvananthapuram, they went there. And from there, having heard about these people's proficiency, the Maharaja Krishnaraja Odayar of Mysore, they wanted them to come there. The last man, Vadivelu, stayed back in Thiruvananthapuram. While Ponnaya, Chinnaya, Sivanandam, they went to Mysore. Then Chinnaya, the eldest, he stayed there. After Sarfoji, his son, that is the last Maratha ruler, Shivaji. When Shivaji and Shivanandam were friends when they were young. So when he came to power, he asked them to come back. Something has happened during my father's rule. Excuse me, you have to come back. So Vadivel said no. At that time of crisis, only Maharaja Swayatanath patronized me. I won't leave. He lived there and died there. Similarly, the eldest, Chinnaya, he lived in Mysore, died there. Ponnaya and Shivanandam came back to Tanjavur and lived. They composed many songs. This is the history. And later, many of the families, even today, the descendants are there. They are very good Nattunars. That is the story of the Tanjavur quartet family. And with them, there were naturally plenty of other families also. As I told you earlier, there were 7 families. One family went to Baroda. They were the first to take Bharatanatyam to Baroda, outside of Tamil Nadu. Govinda Swami Nattunar, Kuppu Swami Nattunar, that family. And another family is that of Panchabakesha Nattunar. They moved over to Tiruvadamurur, then to Bombay. You know, you might have heard about Rajarajeshwari Natya Kala Mandir, Bharatanatyam, a very big institution that belonged to that family. So there were many families. But they moved out of Tanjavur at different periods of time. One to Baroda, one to Bombay, like that. The only family which lived in Tanjavur, or at least the descendants, is that of the quartet.
And their lineage even still continue?
Yeah, they continue.
Okay. And they practice?
They teach, they train students.
Okay. And can you just put some lights on the musical traditions of Tanjavur also?
Music? The quartet, the Trinity, Tyagaraja, Shamashastri, Muthuswami Dikshit, they were born there. Even before them, there was there were many, Muthutandavar, Mari Mutta Pillai, Arunachal Kaviraj, there were many musicians. Arunachal Kaviraj was not a musician, he was only a poet, he wrote Ramayana. But Mari Mutta Pillai and Muthutandavar, they were composers. Then came these people, the 3. Because of 3, many learned from them, Tyagaraja, Dikshitar. In fact, the Tanjore quartet, as I told you, they learned from Muthuswami Dikshitar. Shama Shastri had many students. Tyagaraja, we took an account. He had 117 students. 117 students. And he composed about 700 compositions. Then their Sishyas and Prasishyas, that is students and their students, they became composers like Patnam Subramanya Iyer, Ramanathapuram Srinivasa Iyengar, and many others. They practiced. In that way, music also was part and parcel of Tanjavur.
No, how do you see the Tanjavur's Shaivite, Vaishnavite?
See, there was not much divide. Though some families followed Shaiva tradition, some Vaishnava tradition, there was not much difference of opinion at a period. Only later it came. Even in Vaishnava, there is Tengalai, that Vadagalai divide, they came. But before that it was not. For instance, Puchi Srinivasa Iyengar, he is an Iyengar. He learnt music from Patnam Subramanya Iyer. Like that. Not only that, even Brahmin, non-Brahmin feeling was also not there. Many Brahmin musicians learned from non-Brahmin musicians.
During which century you say that 11th, 12th,
No.
later?
It is the 19th.
You are saying 19th.
19th century.
Okay. Now I'm asking about the Trinity's time and all.
See, we do not know much about because we get only theoretical books like Sangeeta Ratnakara or whatever. We do not know about the practice of music. There must have been musicians. Unless there is practical music, nobody could have written a theory.
Yes.
Lakshyat Lakshanam. So, it must be there, but we do not know the names. Who were the musicians at the time?
Any temple inscriptions or
Inscriptions speak about Natyacharyas, the dancers, and such other people, not musicians. Not even a single inscription, as far as I know. It speaks about musicians.
that means I'm a layman. But do you think that the dance had an upper
Yeah.
music was secondary? Sort of?
Second.
Can you say about that?
No, as I told you, it was practiced because Natya Bharatanatyam contains vocal music, instrumental music, and dance. All the three. So even the definition for music, Sangeetam, Geetam cha Vadyam cha Nrityam cha Trayam Sangeetam Uchyate. If you want to say Sangeeta, it means it includes music, that is vocal music, instrumental and dance. If there is no dance, you cannot call it Sangeeta, but we call it Sangeeta today. We have separated, but in those times it was not so. Sangeeta means dance, instrumental and vocal. So naturally Bharatanatyam was in the upper hand. Only later, when musicians started, they started to compose, they started to sing. Because Tyagaraja, Dikshitara, Sama, they were not performing musicians. There is no history that they performed. They performed perhaps within their temple or within their house, not public performances. So only after them, these people went and learned, started to, actually Manamachavu Venkata Subbaiah, Tyagaraja's first student and cousin, he was a performing musician, like Coimbatore Raghavaiah and others. So Bharatanatyam was in the upper hand. And naturally Nagasuram and Tamil.
I would like to come to Nagasuram and Tamil. But before that, how Bharatanatyam was mentioned it was mentioned as Bharatanatyam?
Yeah. I have given instances right from 17th century. The word Bharatanatyam, even 15th century. For instance, Purandaradasa, the composer, of Karnataka, in one of his songs, Adidano Ranga, in which he says, Rambe Urvashiyar Ellaru Chandadim Bharatanatyagala Adisi. So Rambe Urvashiyar Ellaru means all these dancers, they danced Bharatanatyam. So the terminology has already come in the 15th century. And later I have given a number of instances. There was one foreigner who lived in India, particularly in Tamil Nadu. He started to speak Tamil in 1715. He married a dancer. He writes his autobiography that he married a Bharatanatyam dancer.
Okay.
Bharatanatyam artist. He mentions the very first person, a Jesuit, who used the word Devadasi in the English literature. He says that he baptized a Bharatanatyam artist. So I have given all the instances and said,
Okay, now coming to the Nadaswaram and Tamil traditions
Yeah.
of Tanjavur. Actually, the great Carnatic music, Raga, Labana, renderings.
Yeah, Raga Lapana came only from Nagaswaram. But for Nagaswaram, nobody can. Similarly, see, Nagaswaram has contributed the Raga Alapana first of all. It has contributed how to do a Pallavi. But for a Nagaswara Vidwan, nobody. See, originally Nagaswara Vidwans were doing Tattakara Pallavi. That is without a Sahitya. There won't be any lyric. Mar, Marga, Guga, Shanmuka. We sing today. In those Tam, Takida, Takatam, Takida, Tajuntam. Like that. It will be only Tattakara. Taking a cue from this, the composers, the vocalists, the musicians, why not we sing Pallavi? Why not we have some Sahitya? So they composed Sahitya and they started to do Pallavis. So for Pallavis, Raga Alapana, Nagaswara is a trailblazer, the lighthouse. For doing the mathematical manipulations in all the musical instruments of South India, that is particularly of Carnatic music, for instance, Mridangam, Kanjira, they didn't know originally how to manipulate mathematical calculations on their instrument. It was only Tamil. That is the guiding spirit. But for Tamil, nobody would have done all this. And it is meant for temples, temple service. Today I object, many people don't like it is an open air instrument. It should be there.
Absolutely.
If you go to Kerala, it will be for 6 hours only in the open. They should stand and play.
Absolutely.
But today they bring it inside the closed auditorium. And they also do similarly like a concert. The vocal concert starts with a Varnam, then a Madhyama Gala, then some short Raga Alapana, another Kirtana, a big Raga Alapana, big Kirtana or Pallavi, like that. The same thing they are doing. What is the difference between a vocal music and a Nagaswaram? You have your own unique items. You don't play that.
Yes.
You cannot play it inside the auditorium.
You should not. Actually, that vibrations it makes some sort of an atmosphere if it is in open air. And as you said,
Particularly in, near Cochin, there is Pallurthi Kavu. The Kavu in the night, they will start at 11 o'clock. And near the lagoon. 1 lakh people will be there, only on the sand, sitting or standing. They will be going on playing, standing, without any shirt.
these Karikuruchi Arunachalam,
Anybody
before that
take-
Rajasthan Pilla, then my mathematics teacher used to say that he used to walk 10-15 kilometers to go to Kumaranallur temple and all, where Arunachalam used to from he starts at 11-12 in the night and goes to 4 a.m. and 5 a.m.
Yeah.
open air. The same thing, I heard Navadimeta Krishna and all open air in the night, midnight in Kerala, in Kottayam. I have whether Nadaswaram or Nagaswaram is that?
Naga is the correct word, not Naga.
Can you, everybody asks this, this doubt whenever I say
See, Nadam means sound, musical sound. It is the sukshma, the subtle thing. If it becomes solid, it is called a swara. So there is no difference between Nada and swara. Whereas it is Nagaswara. If you look at the instrument, it is like a serpent. That bottom portion like a hood and the mouthpiece portion like the tail of the serpent, cobra. So it is Nagaswara. And even in Rigveda, it has been mentioned as Nagavadya.
Okay.
Nagavadya. Not Nadavadya.